This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the men's room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Great time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Stephen Throwhill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. Today we toast a 28-year-old woman, unidentified, in Vancouver, British Columbia. Now, she got busted for drunk driving at 5 o'clock in the morning this past Saturday. Basically, she went through a DUI checkpoint, failed the breathalyzer test, went through all the rest of the tests. The cops, they finally gave her a ticket, and they said, look, we're not going to take your ass to jail. It's the Canadian way. Call someone to pick your ass up. We'll do the court date later. So she makes a phone call. As it happens, she has an identical twin sister. So about half an hour later, her twin sister showed up in another car and also got a DUI because not only was she drunk, she was drunker than the woman that she was picking up. So the cops haven't said how drunk each of them were, but the second sister did even worse on the breathalyzer. And the point is, she drove there.
At 5 a.m.
At 5 a.m. to pick up her drunk sister. Now, it's not clear who they called to pick them up after that, but the cops still give you that option, like, okay, is there another person we can call to pick you up? That person was sober enough to take them home, but they're now both dealing with drunk driving charges. I just like the fact that they're like, hey, man, just call someone to pick you up, right? And then your drunk ass sister.
An identical twin.
It is an identical twin.
I mean, they were probably out together.
I'm assuming, because at 5 o'clock in the morning, you know what I mean? Like, if I show up within 30 minutes, chances are we were out together. But either way, their court date.
Yeah, I mean, even if you've been asleep for a couple hours, like, that ain't gonna cut
drinking,
it. Yeah, 5 a.m., you're still gonna.
Hell yeah. Assuming they party like us. But let's drink. Speaking of which, we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy!
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola, bichola!
The men's room presents Profile This.
And Stephen Throwhill, can you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
You bet your ass I can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Anthony. Welcome to the men's room.
Yeah, hola, dirty Germans.
Hola. Hola. Yeah, all right, Anthony, you understand how this here game is played?
Yes, I do.
Fantastic. You know you have your choice of one of three stories. We have the wonderful world of drugs. We have bite me. In other words, what did someone find in their food? And finally, interior decorating, where you guess the foreign object that ended up on the inside of someone.
Let's go interior decorating.
All right, here is your story. We go to Florida, where a man was arrested Saturday in Monroe County, where they also found 9 syringes in the suspect's possession, along with meth, crack, marijuana, and heroin. 41-year-old Bryce Oliphant, he was taken into custody after Monroe County Sheriff's Sergeant was pumping gas at the station around 11 o'clock in the morning when he noticed the strong smell of marijuana coming from a Nissan parked at the pump next to him. So he approached the female in the driver's side of the car and also saw 2 teen children, later identified as being 13 and 14 years old, who were sharing the single front passenger seat. Now, when the sergeant asked the woman about the smell, the driver said she did not have a medical marijuana card, but she said the person in the back seat had, in fact, been smoking pot. The man in the back seat, according to the sheriff's sergeant, quote, looked nervous, and for good reason. Because the sergeant also reported that when Oliphant was first questioned, he gave a fake name. It was also discovered he had a warrant for smuggling contraband into a detention facility. He was arrested and taken into jail. So, yeah, the cops found syringes, meth, crack, weed, and heroin on this guy. But only one of these things were found in his anus. So the question for you, what did they find in his anus? And in this case, you have 5 choices. Syringes, meth, crack, weed, or heroin.
Okay, well, which one's more legal?
I would guess weed is the closest to being most
they
legal.
Didn't have a card.
What state you say it was in?
Florida.
I mean, I would be surprised if he had one of his syringe up his butt.
I'm surprised that anyone has anything in their butt.
Yeah, I am too. And if you're going, but I guess he wasn't
Although
expecting,
less in the last year.
He wasn't expecting to get booked into jail either.
They just showed up at the gas station.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he wasn't preparing to go in there like he had before, where he smuggled something in for a reason. Like,
we don't think so.
Okay.
Because one of these things was already in his anus. He didn't put it there after they arrested him. It was as they did the search, and when they booked him, they're like, Jesus, man, I mean, how much do you have on you?
I think it's its namesake. I'm going crack.
I'm thinking maybe it's heroin, just because, like, he's smoking weed, maybe because he's hungover, but, like, he just keeps the heroin up there in case he gets dope sick.
I like how you have this whole mapped out.
Yeah.
I know his life. I get it.
You going to go weed, Ted?
No, heroin.
Heroin. Ted's going heroin.
Or does he keep a loaded syringe up there? How long does heroin stay liquid in... You know what? I'm not going to ask that question.
I don't know.
Well, it's warm in the backside.
Like, can he just keep that up there forever? Yeah, I'm going heroin.
Okay, Anthony, what are you thinking?
I'm going with syringe.
Syringe. Final answer?
I like it.
Okay, we're going to find out what he packed in the backside there. Was it syringes, crack, weed, or heroin next?
That was a tease.
The men's room returns with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Category is interior decorating. On profile, it's got a Florida man. He was arrested after they found meth, crack, marijuana, heroin, and syringes on his person.
Yeah.
He had a warrant out for his arrest, so he was taken to prison, and then when they were booking him in there to jail, they found something hidden in his backside, which was actually one of the things that he had on him.
Yeah.
So the question is, was it syringes, crack, weed, or heroin?
D-Ted Smith, we'll start with you.
Oh, no.
You said...
I said heroin.
Said heroin. No, it is not heroin. Miles, you went with crack, saying, hell, it's his butt. Why not?
Yeah.
And then Anthony went with syringes, which is ridiculous. But he is correct.
Man.
Yeah, he
almost went with that.
So they found all the drugs in the car. They found 9 syringes in the car. And then when they booked him, they're like, he has another syringe in his butt.
That is a dirty needle. Now, for all TV news all the time, it's time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box,
Armageddon.
The Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
Right, your choices today, the Jimmies,
Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel.
Seth Meyers,
Okay.
or Ted Smith.
Is it Ted or is it late night?
It's right there to tell you all these guys have scenes for talented writers and help them come up with their monologues each and every night. It is up to you to determine, is this an actual late night joke and from whom, or could it be a The Ted Smith original?
The long-awaited 5th installment of Indiana Jones will be underway soon after delays caused by COVID. Between the delays and Harrison Ford's age, he is now the same age as the treasures he is hunting.
Kimmel. Yeah, Kimmel.
Ted Smith.
Ted Smith.
Damn it. Score 1.
Funny boy.
Those who are fully vaccinated do not need to wear masks to the movies, but you don't have to show proof. It's done on the honor system, which has worked so well for movies for decades.
Kimmel.
Fallon. Kimmel.
Those who are fully vaccinated do not have to wear masks to the movies, but you don't have to show proof. It's done on the honor system, which has worked so well for movies for decades. I can't even imagine sneaking into one of those.
The TSA screened more than 7 million people over the holiday weekend, and it's wild because you can get on a flight unvaccinated, no problem. But God forbid you bring a full-size bottle of shampoo.
foul?
Kimmel.
TSA screened more than 7 million people over the holiday weekend. And that's another funny thing, because you can get on a flight unvaccinated, no problem, but God forbid you bring a full-size bottle of shampoo, you're going down.
Did anybody see a little bit of the NBA playoffs last night?
I did. I did not.
Mm-hmm. Damian Lillard's unbelievable.
He is.
And it's hard for me to cheer for anything Portland, but I like cheering for that guy.
Yeah.
He dropped, what was it, 55 points. Like basically his stat line and the fact that he lost, he set a record for most 3-pointers in the playoffs from anybody. And it's just like the stat line, it's just like, and he lost. It's like, oh my God.
You think he just looks at his teammates like, can I get some help? I mean, just a wee bit, fellas.
You know, every once in a while, someone would step up. Carmelo would step up in a 6 roll, but just no consistency.
Right.
You know?
He hit a 3 to send it to overtime, hit another 3 to send it to the second overtime. And credit where credit's due, there was a very questionable foul called for him in his favor.
Okay.
So I don't know that he would have gotten that shot off.
You know, like you deal with what you have. I don't know as much about basketball as when I played, which was just very basic crap.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. They run a 4-guard set at times. You know, I mean, there's all kinds of, you know what I mean, things that, you know, our coach would be like, we need 2 forwards.
Right.
We're going to keep asking that big guy if he's going to play basketball next year. Like,
yeah, right.
You know, this is old school, like, we're going to run a 1-3-1, see? And then we're going to press and come back and then switch it up with man. You know, all this crap.
Well, basketball is just so different now, too, is like the big guys have handles.
Yep.
Right? And then you have guys like Durant and AD who are like slashers, but they're massive, tall dudes.
Yep.
It has changed.
Yeah. I think part of that, too, is I wonder sometimes if people have like who was it? Like the Scottie Pippen growth spurt.
What do you mean?
Like, I want to say it was Scottie Pippen that like was like a man, like basically he's not on the team in college and ends up on the team, but he also grew like 6 inches.
Oh, damn. Okay.
So some guys are going to be a little bit late with that growth.
Sure.
So like they already have those handles and are used to slashing.
Right,
now they're tall. They should post. Well, depends on the coach. Would say you need to post up more, but it's also like, screw it.
James Harden's like, I'll just run down the middle and jam it down your throat.
Yeah. All right, this is an interesting list.
One more thing.
What up?
Do you see the LeBron thing?
What, that he walked off?
Yeah, with 5 minutes to go.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing, man? I mean, you weren't hurt.
That game was over.
I know it was over, but still.
But
like
still.
It's like you just walking out right now. Like, that's enough TV news. Right? Well, we're gonna do the thing.
It's a terrible segment. I'm like,
yeah, exactly. I'm out.
Look, I hear you, but the athlete now, the things are different. Like, it doesn't bug me anymore.
No, I know.
Like, some people said he was just going to stretch because he wasn't going to play anymore. All right.
Sure, yeah. That's it.
No, seriously. Like, he is a psycho about fitness, and if you're not going to play...
He's also a psycho about Taco Tuesdays.
He's just not funny. So these are main characters on TV shows that sucked the life out of their shows.
Okay, all right.
So first, is there any shows that come to mind where you think of a main character just being the worst?
Yeah, the first one that comes to mind, you know where I'm going to go with this.
That's why I asked.
How I Met Your Mother.
Ted Mosley. He's number 4 on the list. They say he played a big part in the normalization rise of the nice guy variation of garbage mail.
Damn. Okay.
Well, it is weird. Like, nowadays, people, and I get it, like, it's just like, right, some of the stuff that kind of goes on TV shows or movies, you've been saying this for years, like, that would be stalking.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And he kind of represented that. And I get movies, you know, they're a little fantastical, but it's like what counts sometimes as a romance movie, like the dude is a stalker. Or in some cases, she's a stalker. And I know in the end they get together, but like, under normal circumstances, you get pepper sprayed, dog.
Mm-hmm. Right. Let's see. Another big show out there, Sex and the City. They say Carrie Bradshaw. She was shallow, hollow, entitled, and materialistic.
Okay. I wouldn't know. Did not watch the show. I'll ask my wife if she agrees.
Is Carrie Bradshaw the Sarah Jessica Parker character?
Yes.
Okay.
She's the main one.
All right.
Right? And then, what's her name? Samantha was the hot one. They don't get along, which...
I know. I can't think of her name.
Right. She's been in a bunch... Kim Cattrall.
Yes.
She's been in a bunch of movies. She's kind of been that person for years. I don't recall when Sex and the City started. And I've said this before. I just remember when that was on, we had HBO at the time. And like, now this will sound real old school for people out there, but there wasn't DVR. Mm-hmm. So you had to watch like 20 minutes of a show basically for women that I didn't care about to see a sex scene.
Well, look, man, we paid the price for that, too.
Oh, yeah, God, yeah. God,
especially when HBO showed movies 10 o'clock at night. Like, we knew it. It was a terrible movie, but eventually they would get there to the one part we cared about.
But at least when I
couldn't pause it either.
But I was going to say, at least with, like, Caddyshack, we had it on VHS.
Oh, yeah,
so I could pause. Right? Like Sex in the City, I remember being like, oh, my God.
You also have to go through Judge Reinhold masturbating, which is kind of a turnoff right before that scene. But
that is Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
I'm sorry. That's Fast Times. Yeah. Caddyshack's the cool.
He did a cameo in the director's cut where, I just started to masturbate for no reason.
I went right to Phoebe Cates on that one.
Yeah. I've seen Caddyshack a lot. I'm pretty sure he was not in there. I like this one. They just say the entire cast of Riverdale. The main characters just keep getting worse and worse. Their character development makes no sense. And the whole show's just a mess.
I've never seen it, but that's one based on the Archie comic, I believe.
You know what? I'm not quite familiar with it.
Okay.
It was a massive show. People seem to look at it in retrospect and don't seem to care for it.
Okay.
Let's see. Callie Torres from Grey's Anatomy. She acted like an unprofessional, passive-aggressive jerk on so many occasions. I dislike her the most in the episode where she is getting sued.
Aren't all these characters supposed to do this? If you write that character in, and that is their role.
Well, no. Because some main... They are. But the list is just, hey, these are main characters that are insufferable.
Okay, gotcha.
Right. So, like, some main characters are going to be kind of funny or be the cool guy or this or that.
Basically, what that means is that the ensemble cast made the main character tolerable.
Gotcha.
So you're not wrong that the characters were doing... But this is just literally a list of, like, the ones that
really piss people off.
Yeah. I mean, look, at the beginning, wasn't Chevy Chase a main part of Community?
He was supposed to be because he was the big name.
Right.
But everyone hates him, right? So the other guy, we say it was Star Wars. The story, the original ones, are about Luke Skywalker. This is about his story. He was the last guy you wanted to see. Look, you didn't hate him. You just liked every other character better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's the way it goes sometimes.
Yes, it does.
I mean, hell, even for me growing up, like I watched a cartoon about G.I. Joe as much as I could. I never really cared for Flint, and he was like the main Joe.
Right.
I don't even know if I owned a Flint. They say Dr. Gregory House from House. I was like, yeah. Mike disagrees on this one. They say House himself is insufferable. There were so many times where he went beyond the point of the show, I started to get upset for the fictional patients.
He was a D, and it was pretty well known on the show, but he was funny.
But he was supposed to be.
Right.
Specific. This is not, like, he was written to piss you off.
Right. But even then, he doesn't really make you all that angry, other than he's kind of going through some mental stuff throughout the entirety of the show, but I never found anything wrong with this character.
All right.
Mike likes insufferable people. That's why he works with us.
That's right.
That's right.
Loved House.
Isn't he a pill-popping doctor?
Yes, he is.
We call
I'm
that
not
a
saying
doctor.
he's a man of good character. I'm just saying he wasn't near as bad.
Well, you could look at a show like The Sopranos, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of characters on there that you like and don't like. But Tony was the main character, and I feel like in the end, even though he's a criminal and a murderer, among other things, drug dealer, but you do kind of like him.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, even though he does bad stuff, you feel bad for him. Whereas, I think this list is just saying, hey, some of these people you don't care about. Yeah, you got to go in the Wayback Machine for this one. They say Darren Stevens from Bewitched.
Whoa.
He was so insufferable and couldn't let Samantha enjoy anything without berating her about witchcraft, unless it benefited him. It's like, well, she was a witch.
And there was two different people who played that role.
Yep, two different Dicks.
Yeah.
Seriously, Dick York and Dick Sargent. I remember that show vaguely as a kid, and I did not care for his character. Just because he's one of those characters. He'd been like the guy from How I Met Your Mother. He just seemed like this whiny bitch ass all the time.
I just remember getting Bewitched and I Dream of Jeannie mixed up.
I Dream of Jeannie, Barbara Eden was hotter. That's how I remembered.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, those shows were in reruns when I was like a kid.
Me too.
But kind of what...
Me too, buddy.
I'm just saying, that's one of those things. But I mean, not like those shows were older than Chips.
Right.
Like, I was watching Chips in reruns.
Okay, I watched Chips real time.
I know.
Real time.
But I do remember watching both Bewitched and I Dream of Jeannie. And at the age, not realizing it, but being like, there's just something about that Jeannie I really don't
know what it is.
Oh, yeah, those pants.
Yeah, right. It was her harem pants.
Right.
That's what I loved about her.
That is a good look. Jeannie look. It is.
You should go to a festival.
Oh, really?
Oh, I mean, I have them. I have tie fisherman pants.
Oh, nice.
Okay, well, that does nothing for us.
Yeah, exactly.
It does nothing for you. I'm just saying.
Like hot today.
If you like the look of like harem pants or harem, is it harem or harem?
Harem.
Harem pants and maybe a blonde girl with a lot of makeup or a brunette.
Yeah, like, ponytail.
Yes, go to a festival. That's pretty much standard issue.
Sweet.
And then usually around the corner is like dude in who's either shirtless or in a tank top smoking weed.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good look. And you can fit a lot in those pants. Sometimes I play games that only has one front pocket called What's in My Pocket?
Reach a hand in.
That's exactly it.
Pocket dog.
Reach your hand in, find out what adventure you're going to be sent on. I'm done.
Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. You are listening to The Men's Room.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go as we head to China, where China is doing its best to keep a herd of 15 elephants away from its seventh biggest city. Meanwhile, a Danish journalist has the greatest assignment ever as she goes undercover and someone pets her kitty. Southern California teen gets to tell the tale of the time that she pushed a bear off a wall. Thieves break into a Harley-Davidson dealership, but the door is way, way, way too small. And a Florida woman donates a kidney to her new husband's ex-wife. It is time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my car.
All right, top story. We go to Denmark, where a radio journalist just conducted an interesting interview. The segment didn't last long, but it was on a swingers club that had recently reopened from the COVID-19 restrictions. For whatever reason, they decided to take things to the next level and have the reporter actually participate in the club activities for the interview. A live broadcast of, quote, the sounds of moans and body slapping garnered mixed reviews from the audience. I don't know why that needed to be a part of it.
Because, that's what radio does.
She's a radio presenter.
She could have said no, but she's like, yeah, all right.
Right.
Yeah, she said she was single. She wasn't going to do that. She just ended up like, if I'm going to find out what's going on in this thing, I need to get involved in it. So she.
Plus, they've been doing reports. She had been there all day.
Right.
Trust me, that was the headline I had to click on.
Absolutely.
So, I'm with Miles. She was like, I'm single.
I'm here.
I've been there for hours. Some of them were kind of cool. Before I knew it, I was having sex live on the air.
And I don't mind that, but why was it live on the air?
It wasn't live on the air. It was a taped segment.
On the air.
She did it live on the air?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Well, that's ballsy. I don't think I can perform.
No!
You turn the microphone on here and say, go ahead, have sex. It's going out over the air. You're like,
Is that Miles?
I think I'm having a little stage fright.
Oh, yeah, mama.
Because I gotta wonder if she got any kind of approval before she went through with it. Like, hey, boss,
hey, look,
a lot of these guys at this club are kind of cool, and I got an idea for a segment.
Would you tune in? I would. Of course, yeah.
I mean,
that's appointment listening right there.
That is the one thing I couldn't tell from the article. Actually, it seemed like she just kind of decided to do this on her own.
You know what? Let's do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Theater of the mind.
But, do you get approval for, hey, next time you hit me on that live spot, I'm going to be mid-coitus?
You got to remember also, that's way different rules than we have.
Somebody ate that Danish.
Someone tried to do someone simulated sex right at one point in time, and the show got fired. So
what's in this Danish?
They also did it in a church.
Yeah, that's right.
So that was kind of a little bit over there.
St. Patrick's Cathedral.
Yeah. What's in this Danish?
Gary.
Oh no! In other news, China appears to have a pachyderm problem. New reports are coming in of a herd of 15 elephants that wandered nearly 300 miles from a nature reserve, moving their way into some major populated areas in the country. The group has been walking for nearly a year at this point, with only 2 having turned back for home, but a baby was actually born during the trek. They're using methods to lure them away from the cities.
It's funny because they said they think what has happened is that the herd has kind of a new leader.
Yeah.
And that he is just wrong.
Oh, no.
He's not quite...
They put their faith in the wrong elephant.
Well, yeah, because typically, they talk about memories and all that, but there's a lot of things very inherent in elephants. They, generally speaking, know where they should be. But they're saying we think it's kind of the new leader of this elephant pack, man, and he is just taking them the wrong direction.
But it's the longest. Awesome. It's the longest migration ever.
Right,
of elements.
300 miles,
because they think he's going wrong.
I think I'm pretty up to speed on the animal kingdom. You know what I mean? I just thought about Chinese elephants. Of course, but it never really dawned on me. I was just figured, you go to Africa, that's where you see elephants, right? But then I thought, like, China has elephants on all of its, like, structures and all of its historical stuff. And all.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. The architecture would tell you.
Like,
Hey,
it's right there, dude. It's right there.
Gary, do you know which way you're going?
You think I forgot the directions?
I know
Follow
where
me.
I'm going.
I'm an elephant. I never forget.
Shut up, bitch.
And I would never ask for directions.
Meanwhile, this monkey's going, bro, seriously. You got to turn around.
No, turn it around, man.
You're looking bad.
There's nothing this way.
It's a city, man. It's 7 million goddamn people.
It's not worth it.
Yeah. I learned this from my dad and my uncle. This is the right way. No, it's not.
This is the way.
Meanwhile, the female elephant at the side has spent the entire trek just making this sound.
Well, I'll be curious what they. I'll be curious what they do when they get to the city limits.
Right?
What are they going to do?
All the other elephants, they're going to stare at him like,
exactly.
we told you 200 goddamn miles ago, this is not the way.
Oh, they built a city along the path.
Yeah, right.
A couple thieves got a little over their head during a Harley break-in. The group broke into a local Harley dealership and rammed their way out of the building using one of the bikes. After they found their exit, they managed to make off with 3 bikes before one got stuck in the doorway, keeping at least 2 thieves from making their escape on bikes. They made off with 2 consignment bikes and 1 custom bike. Local authorities are investigating the incident. And if you
think they'll find the custom Harley?
Yeah, right.
Like, that's the one.
That's the guy right there. And that is it for your headlines. With that, Mike Hawk is out.
Thank you, sir. We'll see you next time for a return of Big Dummy, and the head chef is back with Ted's meat and potatoes.
Yes, indeed, it is all true. But in the meantime, we'll be all about this batch. So until next time, please do what you do best. And for Letha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network. Oh, man! A Double Flush production.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.